The same crowd that watched Hamlet also paid to watch a bear get torn apart by dogs. 20 paces apart, same afternoon, same city. Welcome to London, 1599. Shakespeare's Globe Theatre just opened on the south bank of the Thames. 2,000 people pack in to watch a ghost walk across a stage, to hear words that will echo for 400 years. Walk away from the entrance. Count your steps. 20 paces. You're standing at the Paris Garden, the bear-baiting pit. A brown bear chained to a post. Mastiffs tearing at it. Blood in the sawdust. The crowd screaming louder than they did for any play. This is the contradiction at the heart of London. The greatest art in human history being written in a city that runs on violence, disease, and desperation. 150,000 people crammed into a medieval death trap, where genius and brutality are stitched so close together you can't separate them. Let me show you how it worked. We start where the law ends, Bankside, the South Shore. The Globe isn't respectable, it's barely legal. Puritan preachers across the river call it the devil's work. They're probably right. Inside, you can watch a king murdered, a lover poisoned, the world remade in words. Outside, the Rose Theatre, Shakespeare's rival, is fading but still fighting. Between them, brothels, everywhere. Officially illegal, practically city infrastructure. The Bishop of Winchester owns most of this land. He collects rent from vice. The prostitutes are called Winchester geese because of it. The joke writes itself. Taverns pour into the narrow lanes. The Anchor, the Bear, the Cardinal's Hat. Watermen drinking their wages, failed poets nursing bitterness. Someone always singing a ballad too filthy to survive mourning. But here's what matters. Every day at the Globe, a flag goes up, visible across the river. The signal. And London comes. Apprentices ditching work. Merchants' wives in wool. Pickpockets circling. Groundlings clutching pennies to stand for 3 hours in the pit, rain or shine. There's a hunger here, a wildness. Theatre isn't entertainment yet. It's a fever dream, an infection, and it's spreading. The river is the only thing that moves. London's streets are too narrow, too packed with bodies and filth to get anywhere. So everyone takes the water. From above, it looks like chaos. Hundreds of small boats darting between the banks. Wherries, tilt boats, cargo barges, watermen shouting for passengers. Westward ho! Eastward ho! Penny to the bridge! You climb in. The wood is damp. The seat is hard. The waterman pulls, and you're gliding through brown water that smells like salt and sewage and industry. To the north, wharves, where ships from Venice, Hamburg, Antwerp unload spices and silk and wine. Ahead, London Bridge, the only bridge across the Thames. Shops and houses built right onto it. The whole structure looks like it might collapse into the river. At the southern gate, traitors' heads rot on pikes. The Queen wants you to see them, wants you to remember. This is the city's heartbeat, the artery that keeps London alive. And it's filthy, dangerous, absolutely vital. You step ashore and the noise hits like a wall. Cheapside, where London works. Goldsmiths, mercers, drapers. Every trade has its corner. Every shop has a painted sign swinging overhead. The crowd is so thick you don't walk. You flow, swept in currents of bodies. A woman balancing hot pies on her head. Geese being driven to slaughter, honking and hissing. A merchant shouting about Flemish linen. The air is bread and manure and sweat and perfume and rot. All at once. All the time. Here's what's strange. Wealth and poverty exist in the same square foot. A duchess buying gloves at a counter where a maidservant is haggling over thread. Everyone pressed together. Everyone moving. The relentless engine of survival and ambition grinding forward. This is where London makes its money. And money is the only thing keeping this overcrowded, disease-ridden city from tearing itself apart. You turn north, and old St. Paul's rises like a stone mountain, medieval, enormous. Its spire was struck by lightning decades ago, never rebuilt. But this isn't a church. Not really. Walk into the churchyard. Booksellers everywhere. Pamphlets, sermons, ballads, news from the continent. This is where information spreads. Walk inside. Paul's Walk, the central aisle, is where London comes to see and be seen. Lawyers meeting clients, servants looking for work, gossips trading rumours, pickpockets working the crowd. Near a pillar, a young man reads from a freshly printed book. In the shadows, two men speak quietly. About the war in Ireland, about Essex's campaign failing, about what happens when the Queen dies. Because Elizabeth will die. Everyone knows it. She's 65. No husband, no children, no heir. James Stewart is waiting in Scotland. Factions are forming, and when she goes, everything could collapse. This is the unspoken truth hanging over the entire city. The golden age is ending, and no one knows what comes next. West along the Strand to Whitehall, the Queen's Palace. Elizabeth is still ruling, still brilliant, but the weight is visible now. In the presence chamber, courtiers bow. Ambassadors from France, Spain, the German states wait for audiences that might never happen. Everything is velvet and gilt and candlelight and whispered intrigue. Outside, roses bloom in the Privy Garden. Music drifts from an upper window. It looks like power, smells like power, but underneath, it sounds like an ending. The throne has no succession plan. The government has no answer. The city has no idea what's coming. And everyone is pretending everything is fine. Night falls, and the gates slam shut. Ludgate, Newgate, Aldgate, Bishopsgate. The watch begins its rounds. Old men with lanterns and halberds. They're worse than useless. Crime flourishes in the dark. Taverns are supposed to close. Light still leaks through shutters. A fight spills into the street. A woman screams. A dog howls. In the wealthier parts of the city, torchlight flickers from great houses. In the alleys by the waterfront, the darkness is absolute. This is still a medieval city. Walled, divided, dangerous, held together by law, by custom, by the collective will to survive one more day. The plague killed thousands last year. It'll come back. It always does. But tonight, people are still here, still breathing, still fighting to make something. London in 1599 is dying and being born at the same time. Plague and poetry, sewage and splendor, blood sport and Hamlet, all tangled together. The people living here don't know they're in a golden age. They know hunger, disease, ambition, the daily grind of trying not to die. But they're building something anyway. In attics, in taverns, by the firelight of the globe. Within a generation, this city will burn to ash. A king will be beheaded. The theatres will shut down for years. The plague will return again and again. But the words being written here will never die. The boy holding horses outside the playhouse. The queen refusing to name her successor. The poet with ink-stained fingers writing a ghost into existence. They didn't know they were making history. They were just trying to get through the day. They built forever.